What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our SEC football channel. We've shown you the 2020 schedule for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Now we're going to give you a projected record based off of that schedule. And what we did is we just kind of grouped teams together based off of recent performances last couple of years and also what these teams have coming back. Arkansas is a really tough team to figure out, because you don't know exactly what you're going to get. And when we very first started doing these projections, Felipe Franks had not even decided to go to Arkansas yet. So, I mean, that changes things as well. But we're going to go with it and see what we get for the Razorbacks. Here is the schedule. And again, games that are 99% are going to be green, games that they, it would be a shock if they lost. 80% are games where they would be favored by double digits. 60% games where they'd be favored by about 7 or 8 points. And then you've got the other end of that, games where they're going to be underdogs. And then the 50-50 games are games that I could see going either way. And like I said, it's very tough to do this for Arkansas. Just don't know what we're going to get. And that's the case for several teams in the SEC with new head coaches. So let's start with the 99% games. And I think you can only give them one. Again, look at recent history for Arkansas, the losses to Group of 5 teams. I expect them to be better this year. They've recruited pretty well the last couple of years, but it's a new coaching staff. I mean, we don't know what we're going to get. So we're going to go with Charleston Southern. It's an FCS team. Surely Arkansas will win this game. I mean, it would be a big shocker if they were to lose to an FCS team. So we'll give them that one win. And then we go to the 80% games. Again, for most teams, most Power 5 teams, you'd put this at 99%. But for Arkansas, I don't think you can do that. And it really won't affect the projection because the 80% and 99% games are considered wins here at the end. But Nevada and Louisiana Monroe, those games, Arkansas should win. I think they'll be favored by double digits. But you're not talking about two horrible teams. I mean, these are decent Group of 5 teams in Nevada and Louisiana Monroe. So that's why I'm going with 80%. Razorbacks, again, should win those games, but it's definitely not a guarantee based off of what we've seen in recent history with this Arkansas team. And you can say, well, it's going to be different this year. Well, it might be, but you don't know that. And really, for these videos, all we can do is just kind of look at what these teams again have coming back and what they've done the last couple of years to give a projection. Just kind of group these teams together. Let's go to the games where on the other side of it, we're going to go to the games that I think they only have about a 20% chance to win. Again, I would be really surprised if they won these games. I think they'll be double-digit underdogs in all of these matchups. Notre Dame on the road, obviously going to be really tough. Texas A&M, I know they've played them really tough every year. You could almost call that a 50-50 game just because it's always a close game. But at the same time, you just compare these two teams and these programs. The Texas A&M is at a much higher level right now. So that's why I put 20% down for this one. Alabama, I mean, do we really expect Arkansas to be able to beat Alabama or LSU? Probably not. I mean, it's at home. Maybe you give them a little bit of a shot, but they're not going to win those games. Probably not going to go on the road, beat Auburn. Tennessee's one that is kind of in between 20 and 40% for me, but I went ahead and put them at 20%. I think Tennessee's going to be pretty good this year. And then we have games where we're giving them a 40% chance, a game where they're going to be probably roughly a touchdown, 6-point underdog, something like that. Mississippi State on the road. I do like the Bulldogs. I think they'll be favored in that matchup. Ole Miss at home. If Arkansas is better than we expect, that could be a 50-50 game. So could Missouri. I mean, that could be a 50-50 game, but playing them on the road and this overall talent level and what we've seen in recent years, that was the toughest one for me. I was kind of back and forth on that Missouri game. Ultimately, why I went with 40% instead of a 50-50 game was because it was on the road. So that's what played into that. So you see here, 3 games where they'll be favored, 9 games where I'm projecting them to be underdogs. Maybe that Missouri game could flip. Maybe the Ole Miss game could even flip because that's at home. But even if they won those 2 games, that would still just put them at 5 and 7. But the projection based off of these percentages is 4 and 8. Again, we take the 80% and up games, count them as wins, 20% down, count them as losses. That means you've got 3 wins here. And then out of Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Missouri, the average comes out to where they would only win 1 of those 3 games. So they would get 1 win in SEC play, obviously lose there to Notre Dame, and they would finish 4 and 8. I think they might can do better than this. There are winnable games on this schedule, especially that Missouri game like I talked about. Ole Miss there, potentially. I just don't see them getting to a bowl game, though. I think 5 and 7 is definitely possible, but to get through this schedule with Notre Dame in the non-conference, I think 6-6 is going to be tough, but not impossible if this Arkansas team can turn it around and obviously play a lot better than they played last year. Remember last year, early in the year, they were pretty competitive, and then they kind of lost the locker room there, and I think that's why Chad Morris ultimately was fired. Going down the stretch, the team they didn't look the same. But they do have Felipe Franks, they do have Rakeem Boyd coming back. They've got some good young talent, so maybe Arkansas can surprise this year. I thought they were going to make a big jump last year. It didn't happen. Maybe I was just a year early. Maybe they do make the jump this year. But again, based off of the formula we're using, the percentages here, the projected record for Arkansas comes out to be just 4-8 in 2020.